Greetings, Geeks. Welcome to episode 463 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. We have a special episode, an After Dark episode. This is the Wargames episode, and I am joined today by three of the greatest geeks that you're ever going to meet who are willing to pretend that they're in low Earth orbit while discussing a movie that they watched when they were tweens.
Yeah, I was a kid.
10 times. So yeah. I got Chris DeBona.
Hi, everybody.
Nate Ostendorp.
Clickety, clickety, click.
Rob Roseboom.
Hi.
So yeah, this is we're continuing with the Ally Sheedy saga.
She's so great in this movie.
She really is.
So cute.
I watched Short Circuit not that long ago too, and it's another like, oh, Ally Sheedy, you didn't do anything after like 1992.
You know, she did. I think she was in SLC Punk and some other stuff. No, that was the other one. Annabeth. Yeah. No, I don't know what she did, but you know, Ally Sheedy. Yeah. How neat.
Also, Baby Broderick.
Yeah, he's a kid.
So young.
Yeah.
So young.
But still so Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that guy started Matthew Broderick. He's going to die Matthew Broderick.
Yep.
And it's just, yeah, it's great stuff.
It's true. For me, obviously, he's always Ferris Bueller. And all Broderick is measured against Ferris Bueller. But this is like young Ferris.
How many Broderick notches would you put the Wargames Broderick below the Bueller Broderick?
Only one.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And you have to. Where's Biloxi Blues on that list?
Low.
No one cares about the food. I mean, where's the producer's Broderick?
Ooh, see, I do not care for the producer's Broderick one iota.
Oh, okay.
But that's me, and I think it comes down to I don't really like the producers all that much.
Okay. So Ally Sheedy in War Games or Ally Sheedy in Breakfast Club?
She's more charming in this. She wears more athletic wear in this. There's like 3 scenes where she exercises for no particular reason. But
except for to get everyone exercised.
Yeah, but the Breakfast Club is like that's peak Ally Sheedy, I think, for me. Just because.
Yes.
But I watched Short Circuit as a kid and didn't realize that was Ally Sheedy, because that was so much a movie about a robot.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a movie about a girl, and there was no way that Stephanie was going to ever get disassembled.
No disassemble Stephanie.
All right, so
not with that attitude.
If you've seen the Snyder cut of Short Circuit, things go completely different for him. But you know. That's for another show.
That's true.
Tonight is War Games.
What about St. Elmo's Fire, Ally Sheedy? The problem is she had that really short haircut. It was almost like, it's just, it doesn't work.
Less Sheedy than you were expecting.
Not important. Let's keep going.
Well, all right. Let's jump back to the first marker that we have. The first thing is that Leo is in this movie.
Totally.
Yeah. And Mr. Blonde from Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Since the movies does really have everything.
It's a fantastic movie, and I think this was the missile site scenes are from the Titan Missile Museum in New Mexico, right. So it's very exciting. It's also the same one where they filmed all the Star Trek First Contact, I think. No, not First Contact. The one where they go back in time and go into warp speed and stuff. Yeah, First Contact. So it's also where they filmed First Contact and a bunch of things. So
they didn't. You're telling me they didn't actually film this in Cheyenne Mountain?
Well, I don't know about this part here, but like the part where they actually show the missile and it's got the metal plates around it and everything. That's the Titan.
This is a choice corridor.
Yeah, that's why I paused this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is legit.
Check out those visible fasteners on the wall there.
Yep. That's how you know it's
better than
value.
that still. The raceways in Titan and later missile silos, they were always basically hung from the ceiling, and they were designed to shake in the event of an actual attack, right? So they wouldn't come loose.
Well,
and then they'd always have to go through like all kinds of funny kinky corridors to get to where they needed to go to protect them from the blast of actually the blast of the missile itself exploding inside the silo, because it happened so often early in the program.
Have you ever watched, there's a number of YouTubers that have put up over the years remodeling the insides of missile silos, and they're crazy. There's one in particular that I should dig it up, but like the whole internal structure is like suspended, and like all the shenanigans that they go through because those things are all flooded and everything. It's crazy. But this
so
looks
when
legit.
VA Linux went public, I was this close. I got the environmental impact report from the Colorado Titan 1 missile silo complex. It was for sale for like $1 million. Yeah. So
I just like the sign here. That just really says it all about our military.
Was it
anyone urinating in this area will be discharged?
Oh yeah.
Like it's like the first visible sign that you see.
That's you can see it behind Leo here too.
Yeah, don't piss in the silo, guys.
Good eye.
Yeah, really. I mean, who wants to smell pee in a missile silo?
I mean, you're stuck in there. Once they close those gigantic doors, you're there for 3 to 6 years.
That's true.
Well, they mentioned that they had been late 1 million times, and if you were late more than 3 times, that you lost your status, your clearance. And like if you missed a dentist appointment, it would be marked against you, and you could lose your clearance. I mean, this was no screwing around. Like, no irresponsibility was allowed.
Right. Which is why I thought it was strange that one of them was bragging so openly about how much he liked smoking weed.
Yeah, never would have happened.
And while it did my heart good to know that a stoner was protecting us from nuclear war, I did find it a little bit shocking that he was in charge.
This is your mark, Rob.
I know, and I just talked about it.
Oh, he didn't.
Well done.
He didn't say it. Was I ahead of it?
No, he was talking. We were just talking about it. And he goes back to it. He keeps talking about this girl. He's clearly infatuated with her and her sensimilla.
This whole sequence is actually pretty intense. It's well done.
Oh, yeah. It's extremely well done. I mean, John Badham was really good at suspenseful stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the king of the thriller back then. No? Blue Thunder was the movie he did before this, and he did Short Circuit after. I mean, seriously good stuff.
So yeah, it's the 6:34 minute. That was the cold open to get to the actual title card in the movie. So good on them. They really held us in suspense. That is a good opening for a movie, though, for sure.
Solid.
Let's see. Jumping back for Nate here. Look at that.
Yeah, I like the NORAD control room reveal.
Yep.
So
it said on Wikipedia that they actually had developed some sort of new technology so that the screens would actually be visible while they were filming.
Like giant projectors.
Yeah.
I also like it that John Badham chose to place his credit in front of this shot. That's like incredibly intentional. It reminds me, I watched the director commentary on Austin Powers 2, and Jay Roach talks about how he recut the opening song, the last few minutes of it, to get his credit over this really cool spiral. It was like, all right, when you're the director, I guess you get to do that. You get to put your name in front of the shot you like.
So one of the stories that was bouncing around the Air Force at the time was the senator came and visited NORAD, and it was really lame. And he's like, this isn't at all like War Games. And then they ended up getting this huge budget to like get a better mission control, So I don't know if it's true, but it's too good to check, So
yeah, it's best not to know.
So I've been calling this brunette here Sigourney Weaver, because she almost constantly just repeats whatever the computer needs her to say.
Ah.
Wait, excuse me, General.
So when I saw this, they have all those they have studies that show, something like 20 to 60% of people in the Army never fire their rifles in combat, depending on, which war and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I wondered if they actually did studies to figure out how many people would launch a nuclear missile.
Oh,
I wondered what
absolutely.
what the number was.
Yeah. I imagine that
they absolutely would.
The psychological profile for somebody who's willing to press the button that will erase, tens of millions of human lives. That's there's no place where I do that. That's not possible.
Well, and then there's people who say that they could, but when it came time and a clutch to do it, it's like the people on the battlefield with a rifle. Yeah. They just can't fire the gun, and good on them, right?
Here we are.
Yep.
And then into what we call the Whopper computer.
The Whopper.
Whopper computer.
It's a war operation plan response. This is Mr. Richter.
I also like Richter. I like,
I love Richter. He's great.
Like we've all been there doing a technical demo.
Yep.
And
right. And let me just say, for a machine that is designed to, control one of the biggest, fighting forces the world has ever seen, the Whopper. Really, that's what you decided?
And the Whopper,
you couldn't be like the Woden 600, the Annihilation Drive, the Hecatome, or even the Humongous. They could call it Humongous, right? That's a wonderful
name. The Exterminator.
Name. Right?
The Exterminator 9000.
It's the Whopper.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the best we could do. That Falcon, he was clever.
Yeah, and he really, really liked hamburgers.
I mean, yeah. I meant to mention it that the dude standing next to the Whopper, because we had just watched Leo, I was convinced that he's Toby Ziegler. They'll see him again, but he looks like Toby Ziegler ate a bunch of Whoppers. Let's see.
So 1334. I don't know if you. Yeah, just hit play.
I wouldn't trust this overgrown pile of microchips any further than I can throw it. And I don't know if you want to trust the safety of our country to some silicone diode.
Silicone diode.
What's funny is before this movie, the last person to be that guy was probably the guy with the hat in the Kubrick movie.
Yeah. Scott in
Slim Pickens. Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You took away one of my jokes for later.
I know.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
There's lots of strange love to be had in this movie.
Yeah, right.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got Miss Pac-Man.
Jungle Hunt. That's what the guy's playing right there.
There's Tron in the background.
Yeah.
And they managed to have a video game theme song that wasn't Pac-Man Fever, which is kind of
what is
Zaxxon?
Yeah, right? Zaxxon.
And he's playing Galaga.
Yep. Is there two?
Yeah,
Trons?
and there's Tron.
They got both
two Trons. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have Tron and Tron Deadly Discs. Yep. Yeah, that one's Deadly Discs right there.
They got both of them. And Galaga gets some serious screen time.
Is that the Deadly Disc you can stand it? No.
Check my digital watch.
Yep. That guy, man, he's so cool.
And can I also say it's kind of cool. He can never actually finish a game of Galaga, even when he's got a high score. Like this one, he gives to Howie. Yep. The other one he gives up because Ally Sheedy is too cute. So it's just like, and yet he has a great attitude about it. He doesn't go, Mom, I want to finish my game. He's
just like, right. Here, take this for me.
Here, kid. Isn't that nice? Let's say. Because he's got to get to Mr. Liggett's class on biology.
That's right.
And Matthew Broderick gets to get ragged on by a boring teacher.
Yeah, but a good
joke.
I'm
trying to, the teacher he's another guy. He shows up in a bunch of movies. I'm trying to Wargames. Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody had a note at 1710, but in a different column.
Yeah, it was.
I had 1640.
The 1710 was your wife.
The wife, the wife joke, but also Ally Sheedy is so cute.
Right? 13-year-old me was in love.
Oh, totally.
Maybe you could tell us who first suggested the idea of reproduction without sex.
Your wife?
Sick burn.
So good.
Oh.
My note got deleted. Anyway.
Go to the... Oh, really? I hope I didn't do it.
I was just gonna say when he asked her about nitrogen fixing, and she said love, and he made fun of her. I just thought, she should really argue that, because aren't lonely plants growing in nitrogen poor rocky soils like a hungry heart made whole with nitrogen fixing bacteria? Isn't that the biological equivalent of you complete me, sir? But then I thought I was just thinking too much about the stoner at the beginning of the movie, and moved on. But
they do a really good job. So, the script writing on this movie is actually really solid, right? Because they set up his password snitching that he then repeats later on. I mean, there's some good stuff. Wait.
And here's the thing: if you look at all of these passwords, they're all 6 digits long. And so I wrote them all down.
Double pencil,
except for point. No, it's points with an S. Yeah. So everything has 6 letters, and mixed case, which is sometimes, but yeah, public, visual, handle, effort, double pencil, travel, differ. I mean, it's like, and they're all kind of schooly. I was like, I respect whoever did this thing and scratched it out and erased
set design,
it.
prop design.
I'm like, well done, set dresser. There's your vet.
Yeah, like that is just the classic 1980s vet. And I just remember Police Quest, you had a vet, the classic Stingray vet, and I don't know. It's just
and that was like the last
right in the middle of the shot. And I thought,
well, you need to take your Stingray if you're going to go pick up Sweet Cheeks Marie.
Exactly.
Well, this was like the last of the C3 years for the Corvette. But after this, they went to that really ugly C4, that I just think is awful.
Yep, this is the last of the Stingray era. My father and I have discussed this. He prefers the generation before where they still have the split rear window. And then I like this generation, and then my brother likes the generation after that, I guess.
But your brother's wrong.
Oh, clearly.
For sure.
Clearly.
My dad had a 50th anniversary C4. And
she drives around on that stupid little motorcycle.
It's a moped.
All right, that's fair.
That is a girl moped. And in the 80s, this is what every girl wanted.
This is like the only time that someone actually said, come upstairs to my bedroom to look at my computer.
Yep.
And then actually wanted to just show his computer.
Did you see the thing on his door? It was secure area, authorized entry only, no exception. And I was like, that is like that's like a 12-year-old thing to do.
My kid,
but it's like, he's still young.
I literally have a sign like that on one of my kids' doors right now.
Yeah.
You're really into computers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just had to save that one line. I love it so much. That actually would be a good sample to like just trot out every now and then when you need a voice quit. You're really into computers, huh?
It's really good.
.23 is just.
Is that Leo
the computer?
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's watching his job evaporate.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's no way they would ever let him anywhere near the damn launcher.
This shot of Whopper, I just like because it's sort of gratuitous, like technology.
And
it's the one we sampled.
As Chris and I were saying, I won't mess with my green screen now, but when he and I logged in for the call, we both had that as our background image. Right. And that's actually when we introed, you didn't see, but when I did the intro for the episode, that was my background image. Because and as Chris and I discussed, we both fast forwarded to find the frame where it was centered properly so that your head would be centered. Important tasks.
And the problem is also it's focused really on like one point. So like it says like stack and it says like all these computery words under all the LEDs, but only one is kind of in focus at any one time. Oh, stop.
What's the
magazine? So
all right, where are we going?
So 2354.
20. I don't have that on the list. 2354.
Yeah. So
before the guy butters his bread for like a half hour.
There's a lot of shots of that corn, man, and it's raw, and they talk about it like for a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay. So
the
Pause it when you can see the address. When he opens it up, and pause.
It's Sunnyvale, right?
So it says 2407 Rogers Boulevard. There is no Rogers Boulevard in Sunnyvale.
Burned.
So if you find, and in fact, there's no 2400 block of any road in Sunnyvale. They all top out at like 1400. But if you go a little further, as if you were at the 2400 block of any of the major roads in Sunnyvale, you end up prophetically, because it wasn't built yet, prophetically at One Infinite Loop, or on the others, if you go down El Camino instead of Sunnyvale Saratoga Road, you end up at the old HP site in Cupertino. Bam. And if you for some reason went the other way, you could end up at Park if you were really a little creative. So I'm not saying they were creative like that. I'm just saying that's what I found out when I fucked around with maps for 20 minutes today.
Street View. So yeah, this is the moment where young tween Rob learned what wardialing was.
Yeah, for sure.
I ran a wardialer in Salt Lake City, and I found a bunch of computers this way.
I ran one once, and then my parents, I don't know how they figured out what I was doing, but then they told me that the phone company was monitoring my calls and that I was on a phone plan that had a limit. Now, that might have been total BS. Who knows?
No,
but, you know,
our
that's
calls,
some quality BS.
Our calls, you had like 300 calls that you could make, and then you started getting charged for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. You guys, that's so weird. That's just, you're so Michigan sometimes.
That's
All right,
right.
let's keep going.
Here's
So 2600 there. I just wanted to note that the person he calls is Saul's Fish Market, which is the equivalent to an android, how all bad guys are called Mendez. And you know, you could watch 1,000 movies that has Saul's Fish Market, Saul's Fruit Stand, Saul's whatever.
That's
you
great.
know.
Well, I mean, so if he's ostensibly calling Sunnyvale, like the idea that he's calling a Sunnyvale fish market is pretty fun, because we have a couple, we do, but you know, Saul, that's more of a New York-y kind of thing, you know. So yeah.
let's see, 27.
Yeah, the other thing, 311 is the 555 of area codes. So.
All for that.
Oh.
Only if you're over 18.
Ooh.
So this actually, I find really interesting, because I have had a number of conversations in real life where people were like, "Oh yeah, and I did this big credit card scam, but because I was 15 when I did it,
Yeah.
like I basically just had to, you know, really apologize, and like my mom had to promise they wouldn't put a computer in my room." So like it was kind of legit that I think this movie just sort of promoted teenage criminalization of computer behavior.
I mean,
For white people.
We at least have one
people.
friend who was hauled in at one point.
Yeah. Well, both white people and Canadians could get away with it and you know, get a smack on the wrist, but if you were not
as an adult. Oh
yeah.
Nero
So
Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy's got, like, his face is
He's
too
actually-
red.
Well, so
Hey, what's that?
Malvin
I want a gym.
played the nerd in like
Yeah.
half a dozen
Yeah.
movies of the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And probably still does. And Jim here, Nero Wolf, I mean, they're actually really good actors.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's like
Yeah.
they pull this off. I mean, this Jim could be any
Wow,
like
where'd you get-
Uriah we've ever known.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow, Malvin, you know, he
Yeah,
could be a
Malvin.
different kind of person that we've always
Yeah.
known. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was trying to break into Protovision.
We've
I wanted to
definitely
see the
seen a
program.
few of those.
yeah. Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head, backdoors are not our secret.
Right?
Oh, the microfiche. I
Yeah,
just
right.
like, you know, seeing him do the research, I was just like, oh, I remember doing microfiche
That was the
or
thing.
microfilm
Yes,
in
and-
this case.
And a little bit later, Shout out to card catalog, huh?
Yep.
How long has it been since you pulled out a card catalog?
And he calls a librarian and basically has her refer to the crisscross telephone prefix directory. I mean, whoever does that anymore? You know, I mean, it's amazing.
Chris, your next one is out of order. I'm backing up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's just the Mr. Potato
More
Head.
of this, Mr. Potato Head. All right, then we're jumping forward.
Do it.
More running wear for Ally Sheedy. 13-year-old me is so
cute.
happy.
Right? What year was this again?
83.
I was 11, dude.
Yeah.
How old were you? You were 8? You know?
I didn't see this movie when it was
10.
new. I saw this movie on like
12.
VHS, like 87, 88, 89, that era. I saw
I
this
honestly
movie
don't remember if I saw
reasonably
this in the theater.
concurrently with the era that I was learning about things like Wardialing and how to actually do that sort of thing.
Oh, good. Ally Sheedy was 21 in 1983. I don't have to worry about this being creepy.
It's not creepy at all. She was 21, and in The Breakfast Club, she's like 24, 25. Like, it's those kids, man, they were all playing way older. The music here is choice.
It's fantastic. It was a great montage, though. Like you feel the real genius montage.
Yep.
Like,
totally.
This is a classic montage.
There's another one later on too, which has just Looney Tunes over the top weird music. And I didn't look who the composer is, but they definitely earned their paycheck.
Here, look. Here's his obituary.
He wasn't very old.
Oh, he was pretty old. He was 41.
Ah, so that's 41.
And then she says, "That's old." And I feel like this was just, it's old. This was just designed to drive a stake into my heart in the year 2020.
Yep.
Now remember, don't go forward yet, because then she says that her dad is 45, and then he says, it's just like this great time joke.
That's his little boy.
Setting up the tic-tac-toe.
Oh, yeah? This is really sad. Did you know the child and his mother were killed in a car crash?
Yeah, I know.
In the years that followed the tragic loss
We
of
wanna
his
watch this?
family, Dr.
Nah, I don't want you to get copyright stricken.
Right? We don't want to get another strike.
So, in the book adaptation, so I read the book adaptation. All right. The book adaptation was fantastic, by the way. It's really good. But they go a lot deeper in some of the details.
Into the Whopper.
Like about proto-vision. And no, seriously, they really do. And in the scene where they're trying to figure out the password isn't something simple like Joshua. They try Joshua in the book and it doesn't work. And then she suggests, well, maybe, it's how old he was when he died. And then they say Joshua 5, and it's like this big moment in the book. So I still have the adaptation inside. I was going to bring it to the broadcast, but I forgot.
Oh, we've awoken the Whopper.
Yeah.
Boom. And they gave it like eyeballs.
Yeah. No, they gave it like a
Whopper
little mouth. Yeah.
It's like, Evan and Caitlin putting googly eyes and everything. It's
Which
weird.
they should do.
Graphics.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
out
Graphics.
those pet ASCII.
I'll be the Russians.
Sprites. Yeah.
Which side do you want?
So good.
Always choose the bad guys.
Yeah.
Duh. That's great. All right, we're jumping now for Zen.
I really like that Zen doesn't put down in the spreadsheet what he's going to talk about. I'm really enjoying this. Just
No,
way.
and I would be fine.
Yeah.
Well, my intent behind the spreadsheet was that we would each hide our columns after we wrote them.
Oh.
All right, I don't read what you guys say. I don't want to know until we're doing it.
All right.
Conley, take
Oh, wait.
us all.
You had 4650, not 4605. I need to. I installed.
So actually, I want you to go to 4630. Okay.
All right.
And or just right before that, and hit play and listen very closely.
With us.
Prophylactic
You just cut it in half.
Oh, it was a prophylactic recycling plant?
Yes. I'm like, a prophylactic recycling plant.
I'm glad somebody wrote that line.
Somebody wrote and recorded that.
Remember lingerie.
So I just wanted to talk about here. Is there anything better in the world than undeserved congratulations? I mean, it's so sweet, right? I mean, when you do something nice, you expect to be, congratulated. But when you do something wrong and it still works out for you, isn't that so
your
nice?
Parents are like, oh, hey, good job.
Just
well done,
delicious.
son.
Delicious.
So fatherly with the pipe.
It's nice having parents that like you.
And I think she's in a Century 21 gold jacket.
Yeah, the Century 21 thing I thought was
but not quite, because they'd have to get a permission or something.
Century 22.
He apparently does nothing but crosswords.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dad. He's got a pipe and crosswords. That's all I do now.
He's such a dad. And he died of like gum poisoning.
I forgot my plan for drinking this episode was to drink every time I saw an old-fashioned phone cradle.
Or a dot matrix printout.
Oh yeah. Well, that's 4855. Look at all that paper.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We should talk about the fact that he probably has like $6,000 worth of computer
hardware. Yeah. I mean, heck, the MSI 8-inch dual floppy disk dual.
Yeah,
he must have been rich. His mother must have sold a lot of houses.
I mean, they don't get into it, but if you don't think that dude sells grades, I mean,
he's also got what appears to be 2 stereo amplifiers and an Altair, and hardware speech synthesizer. Those ran at least $200-300.
That's not totally true, because this is in 1983 you could get the Intellivision IntelliVoice, and that was only like
the Speak and Spell.
$200.
The Speak and Spell.
Speak and Spell. Yep.
It was basically a Speak and Spell chip. It was a TI chip that could do the phonemes. So, just saying.
What is the primary goal?
You should know, Professor.
What? You should know, Professor?
You programmed me.
What a dick.
Oh, he's just needy.
Just saying, man.
It's just a really mature Eliza.
Yeah.
That he's stumbling in, after the creator has been working on it for years and years.
Dr. Spatzo.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Oh,
does NORAD give tours? Is that like a normal thing?
Yes, they absolutely give tours.
I want that tour.
Hey,
you can totally take the tour.
This is where we're going to launch the missiles that destroy Russia. Please sit down in the chair.
Yes, this is great.
I hope the Russians don't attack us right now, because
that would be
got
awkward.
some grandma sitting in the chair.
Please, no flash photography.
Command, missile launching stations, etc., and other things that are classified. Miss Nina, would you press this button right here, please? The red one.
The one in the middle.
Yes, ma'am. The one in the middle. Oh my God, that's the wrong one, Miss Kitty.
I have to be honest with you. That joke would never get old for me if I worked there.
Right?
Every single day, the highlight of my day would be waiting to see who we could scare the shit out of. You know?
Like, did you bring some extra pants, lady?
Oh man, I hate to say it, I would totally do that. This scene is gross.
We told them it was just an
It is
exercise,
gross.
but we're waiting for them to relax their posture before we do. Wait. Give me that. Here.
Oh, Christ, the two of them just won today. I have to go to Disneyland where they belong.
Well, I think they're going to tomorrow.
Okay, I'll set.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
No. Hold on. One of you guys is gonna have to fast forward and rewind for the next few seconds, because I have to get
the ick out of your mouth. She was kind of cute though. Anyway, in the book, so there's a part coming up in where Lightman is being shown around, because the first thing you do with a criminal is you show him around your secret or classified base, right?
And then you leave him. And then you leave him alone in a room with your
computer.
personal computer.
Yeah, exactly. It makes perfect sense. But in the book, he's like, wow, are those Cray 3s? Yes, we have the 10 that were ever made, or something. And it was just like, as a young person reading the book adaptation of Wargames, I was quite impressed. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Because they were sort of doing some equipment, sort of drooling,
actual real technology.
Cool.
I didn't do it again. I even threw the number away.
Yeah, they found it.
I would end up buying a Cray 3 CPU off eBay because they didn't make very many of them, and so someone chopped it up and sold it as parts, and I was like, I'm going to get one. So.
Don't we have a friend from high school who worked at Cray until they shut down, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, by then it was, it was a holding company or something, but yeah.
Well, Cray ended up being purchased by Silicon Graphics, right? Mm-hmm. And then they sold the mark, and a bunch of the guys left and started the InfiniBand Fabric Company, and it's all these Wisconsinites and Minneapolis people. So you still see them around.
All right,
that's a snarl right there.
So that was the dude from Mallrats, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
and
Back to the Future, right?
Oh, yeah. Like the principal.
Yeah.
Always
You're not
plays
going to amount to anything, Marty.
Yeah.
Placed under arrest pending indictment for espionage.
Espionage? No, wait a minute.
Espionage.
He's right over there.
Get that little bastard out of the war room.
Yeah.
He's gonna see the big board.
There's no fighting in the war room.
No fighting in the war room.
No, so the guy in Mallrats was Michael Rooker.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Kind of looks the same.
But he was in Back to the Future.
I overshot it though too. They when they cut to DEFCON 3, they showed Reagan on the frame. What they did is like, oh, very subtle, Mr. Director Man.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a great shot. The Reagan DEFCON 3.
And I mean, okay, so he's clever. Like, this is all of these things, these little hacks and stuff, they're clever.
Here's where I feel like we go from like, hey, he's a smart hacker kid to like, oh, he's now like
Uber.
Like a super spy, right? Like
right.
It seems unlikely that he would be capable of doing these things.
No, like, the previous stuff, yeah, you could see he knows some college kids. He knows like computer security was really bad at the time. But now when he's like hot wiring security doors and like, yeah, exactly.
Whoa, wait. So the guy who plays the principal in Back to the Future, he's an actor named James Tolkien. And do you know what else he's in? A Nero Wolfe mystery TV series.
What?
So he's a regular. He's a regular on that too. And it's like, wait a second. Does he and the other guy just follow each other around?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or shaken.
Here's a bit I like.
Seems like it.
Oh, did I miss the time? Marijuana and PCP. And
possibly PCP.
And the use of recycled prophylactics.
Yep.
Diagnosis stoner.
Diagnosis stoner.
Sorry.
Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah. And like,
super so inappropriate.
Oh my God. Like, here's where you see like, oh, yeah. This is not considered. It's not considered that he has bad behavior here. It's just he's distracted. Like,
yeah, he's a dirtbag, but not.
Oh, times have changed.
Right?
Totally.
There's a lot of that subtle stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't get away with. Like even like when Matthew Broderick is in the lab and stuff, like the guy's touching his shoulder and stuff. There's a lot of physical touching stuff that I don't think you'd get away with anymore.
Yeah, but it's a movie. But yeah, like the whole thing with, they spent like 2 minutes showing the MP being a jerk and coming on to that woman, right? I mean, they spent a lot of time. Like, here's why he's distracted, and I'm like, I think you're a little too into this narrative, but yeah. So Zen.
109.
109 here. So, like, in the history of mankind, you've never, ever been able to get an hysterical person to be quiet by telling them to calm down. And so, too, have you never been able to change someone's mind by saying, you are just making this harder for yourself? You know, like, if that's his ace up his sleeve, holy shit, they need a new negotiator. You know? That's it.
David.
The technician, he's chewing a lot of gum.
There's a lot of gum in
and he's
this
got
movie.
a big head. He's got a really big head. It might just be the camera angle, but his head is like twice as long as Principal from Back to the Future. So
what's crazy too is this movie takes a really long time to actually get to Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have to go to Bainbridge Island or. And I like how she had the money to go and buy a next day airplane.
No, she drove.
like,
She stated
ticket.
it. She said it was only a 3-hour drive.
No, but she had to buy the ticket for him from Colorado to Oregon, which he pronounced Oregon, which no Seattleite would ever say. But
check out that mighty captain.
Yeah,
good one.
We get the this is the intense, like catching the ferry scene. Which
I mean, and it was a great scene. They used it in the trailer. They use it in all the like recaps. I mean, it's like, this is a big deal. And he has a couple of scenes like this. I think John Badham is incapable of not filming some like tense driving scene or tense running, jumping scene.
Well, and what I would also say is that like this whole sequence, there's a lot of exposition that's occurring here, and it's actually nice to have it like on a ferry with a moving background. I mean, visually, this is a cut above a lot of the schlock we see.
Yeah, it is. And it's actually, so the thing I really like about Ally Sheedy's character too, is she's her own person, right? She's like, well, like when they fight later about swimming, being able to swim or not. And like when she was telling him to not change her grade, which she changed her mind later, but whatever. She's like, no, do what I'm saying, you jerk, and it's like, it was good to see like a more realized woman character. Because before this, you wouldn't really see that. They'd all be like the gal in Android,
Pterodactyl?
When I saw the pterodactyl, I was like, oh, crap. Is there something I just didn't remember about this movie? I was like, is Falcon like a dinosaur? Like, is he engineering dinosaurs on an island now?
No, he's not. This isn't the island of Dr. Moreau.
But
yeah, it's like, it was really cool. He was figuring out how they flew with thermals and everything. And, it was cool.
And his whole house is decorated with dinosaurs. And it's like, it's a big theme with him. And I get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But there was like a 2-second window where like, there's dinosaurs in this movie? I don't know. I did not get that memo.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, we get to go back to the base now for a whole bunch of talking and standing off.
That whole pile of silicon diodes.
This one's you, Rob.
So I just wanted to say that he may be a computer genius and, and that sort of thing, but he knows shit about paleontology or biology. This drove me freaking nuts. His pterodactyl is missing the membranes on its feet that allow pterodactyls to fly. He thinks bees are going to take over the earth. He names bees. I mean, yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
So, Rob, you can confirm something for me. Did anything over 50 pounds survive the strike of the dinosaur
That
thing?
was the other thing. He keeps mixing up, apocalyptic events. There's like 12 of them that happen, and he just, puts them all into one thing. Yeah.
It's very imprecise.
Yeah.
So, again, so if you watch this in slow motion, a piece of the fence breaks off and hits either the person or the mannequin or whatever they have in the back seat, like almost kills them. Like, I mean, I don't think it was a person, but like,
not anymore.
There was some real danger, and also it was, And they like shook it off. It was like no big deal.
No big deal.
So I'm like, come on.
Well, also, if you drive into Cheyenne Mountain like this, you are shot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you're just
dead.
dead.
Especially when they're closing the mountain. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the alarm's going off, Rob. There's no one at the front gate when the alarm's going off.
So, Taco, what was this conversation thing that you wanted to mention?
Let's see.
Things working perfectly.
But does it make any sense?
Does what make any sense?
That.
Look, I don't have time for a conversation right now.
I just love that. We're in the end of the world. He doesn't have time for a conversation.
Yeah.
That tickled me tremendously.
I see your wife still picking your ties. So I loved Airman Doherty when I was a kid.
Air Force Base. The senior controller isn't here right now.
That's all right. Who are you?
Sir, this is Airman Doherty, sir.
Airman Doherty.
This is General Behringer at NORAD. Our current...
If those two don't go out for a beer after this is all done,
right?
I have no faith in anything in this world.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's really funny because like whenever I'm pretending I'm a prepubescent person, I'm basically using the Airman Doherty voice. Hey, how you doing, guys? Everything going okay? You know, it's just Airman Doherty. It's like that's where I got it.
Global thermonuclear war. Let's see. We got to play some tic-tac-toe, you know.
Yeah. And of course, playing tic-tac-toe is now going to use a lot of power.
Yep.
Like this is not how computers worked then. It's not really how they work now either, you know? I mean, yeah, there is a delta in power consumption when you're, using all of your CUDA cores, but it's not going to make sparks fly.
It was set to nice 19. It just...
That's right.
Nothing else can get done.
Yeah.
Let's see. I like this little bit here. Never shoot it.
So, when they start showing the names and the scenarios it's running through, there's some unintentionally hilarious ones.
I like that everything explodes. Just
yeah,
the monitors. The Whopper is like...
That's what happens when a computer breaks.
Yeah, the Whopper is like a couple rooms down the hall. It's hundreds of feet away.
I mean, can you imagine if that happened to your house every time there was a power surge? That'd be fantastic. Just sometimes your TV explodes if you're watching something too intense.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
You start playing Call of Duty, and then the kitchen oven just like blows off its hinges.
Blows up, yeah.
I feel like Robin Jackson, that might actually be how your power works.
No, Jackson's pretty good. It's outlying areas.
Okay, you got to show just like the briefest moment because like there's some great scenario titles.
You got a timestamp?
So there's the Cuban. Yeah, just hit play. You'll see them flash by.
All this music is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There, stop. So they have a whole bunch of things, right? And some of them are Iceland Maximum. Cuban Provocation. Yeah, right. Sudan Surprise. The Chat Alert. The Chat Alert was really funny. Surprise. And they have a thing for Iceland because there's like 3 Iceland ones. And I'm like, Iceland then was even smaller than it is now.
Right.
It's like 200,000 people and nobody cares. There's the Libyan local, the Denmark massive, and the English and like another one, the English thrust.
Mexican takeover, Chad alert.
Iceland does have a lot of trolls and a nuclear war.
All right, I can't get more. That was our last mark.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wargames, man.
That's Wargames.
Tic-tac-toe.
It's a great movie.
It's it holds up.
I hadn't watched it in years and I enjoyed it yet.
Yeah, same.
It was wonderful. Still wonderful.
It's a great kind of story. It's got a little bit of sort of a Frankenstein-ish sort of message to it. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, it's really solid.
All right, folks. Let's say goodbye to Jake and Elon. and all the rest. So Chris DeBona.
Goodbye, everybody.
Nate Ostendorp.
Fare thee well.
Rob Roseboom.
How about a nice game of chess?
Would you like to play a game? All right, I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. This has been episode 463 of Geeks in Space. And enjoy your Whopper, everybody. We'll talk to you later.